And we are in with a high energy intro. Hello. It
Yes.
wasn't you
Hey,
breathing this
buddy.
time, so that's good.
Man, I was holding my breath. Like the, the
How
suspense
long can
made
you
me
hold your
hold my breath.
breath? I did a
I reckon a good 7 seconds.
yeah, that's yeah. Well, anyone who's listening, who's listened to us before, should go check out our Fat Camp video podcast to learn how truly out of shape we actually are. I could hold my breath for 3 minutes. I got it up to just over 3 minutes
Why?
because I did the.
When when is that going to be a useful
Well, if
thing
somebody tries
for
to
you?
strangle me, or if I fall in a large body of water,
Yeah, but, yeah, you'd
or
survive for three
during
minutes.
acts of mutually consensual pleasure.
I'm just more thinking about the water one because we also discovered on Fat Camp that you can't swim. So
That's not true.
it
I'm
is true.
highly
It might
buoyant.
be.
I don't
It
need to
might be
swim.
because you've got a heart of stone.
I just float.
Maybe.
I'm a very buoyant being. No, but
Oh.
I did the Wim Hof program.
Did you?
Yeah, I did the Wim Hof when he first released the app. There was like a trial because he was just testing it, and I did the cold shower challenge, like and cold exposure challenge and breath holding. It was pretty
I
good,
mean,
man. It works.
you you live in a place that is consistently above 30 degrees, so it's like
Yeah,
you probably need a cold shower. When I go on holiday, I have a cold shower and go in a swimming pool.
I can't
It
get
doesn't
cold
seem
water.
like
I
that much
tried
of
to
an
have a cold
effort.
shower. It just turns into steam. Just as soon as it hits my skin.
Mm,
Yeah, we're not here to talk about that though today. We're here to talk about our expertise in the world of side hustle. Here to guide our listener. By the way, hello Ginger Brown, and
yes,
hello Mum
ginger
and Mum.
brown.
We're here to guide them through navigate them through the complicated and confusing world of side hustles, which is all of the rage nowadays. What is a side
Yeah.
hustle?
Well, I don't think anyone has one job anymore
That's
or
true.
one revenue stream. Um,
Or if you do, you're going to starve
Certainly,
to death.
yeah, yeah. It doesn't never seems enough, does it? That 9 to 5 thing. So, I think it's just a way of making a little bit extra on the side, and ideally, you don't tell the tax man about it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that certainly goes on over here in Spain. We call that black money.
Okay.
What would you say in English? You'd say under the table or cash in hand, I suppose.
Yeah,
Uh,
cash in hand, cash in hand. You see it on like Facebook all the time,
hmm.
especially around Christmas. Like, come and work for us for 45 hours a week, cash in hand. And there's always some do gooder on Spotted Totem, which I don't know if you know what spotted pages are,
I have
but it's
no
like a
idea what you're talking about.
it's like a local page, and someone will go, "Oh yeah, come and work for us, cash in hand," and then some do-gooder, some old lady, normally called
Pam,
Elizabeth,
Karen.
yeah, will type, "Oh, cash in hand, it's illegal. Oh, I'm going to tell the tax man," and you've just ruined a child's Christmas there. So well done.
I mean, personally, well. Maybe we shouldn't talk about tax evasion uh, and record it and broadcast it because one of us will get investigated for sure. But
Mm,
you know, I do not endorse tax evasion. However, I completely understand and empathise with the reasons that people do that. It's certainly something that happens a lot here in Spain because the autonomous system or the system for the self-employed is absolutely shocking. I mean, it's
is
a
it?
socialist government, so they don't really want you to be self-sufficient. They want you to be dependent on the state, and they crush you with an iron fist if you try and make your own money and not give them some.
It does
So
seem quite difficult over there. Like every arsehole over here just sets up a business and cracks on.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
I know, like you're self-employed a lot, aren't you? And I
Yeah,
know it's
I
like
pay
been
for
quite
it.
difficult. And I guess COVID. What happened in
Well,
COVID when you were
as it,
self-employed?
well, I just carried on paying at every juncture. Every time I left the house, somebody from the government asked me for a fiver. It's just that you just pay for everything. You pay tax on your tax. Um, I have to pay a fee every month for the privilege of being self-employed. And if you get past your tier, which often you do, if you make a little bit more, you pass into the next tier, and the difference will immediately mean that although you're making more money, you're making less money, um,
Oh,
because they'll
so it's
just
a bit
tax.
like going over a tax bracket
Yeah, so
here,
a
like,
lot of people try to avoid that by doing cash in hand. But
yeah.
anyway, yeah, rightly so that you mentioned COVID, because the whole side hustle industry exploded when people were trapped at home with their computers, and they suddenly realised that it was quite possible to do or create online businesses. I think the key market that exploded was drop shipping, because everybody was buying crap from China. I mean, I had an AliExpress addiction. I'm happy to admit that. The first step in recovery, correct me if I'm wrong, is
Yeah.
admitting that you have a problem.
Yeah.
Um,
What were you buying?
just little bit, but it didn't matter. Like, it's just little bits of plastic crap. Like I just literally just, and I, because it takes so long to arrive. Every day was like my birthday, because I'd forget that I'd ordered stuff, and then this guy would turn up with a package, and they didn't, because they weren't allowed to come up. They put it in the lift, and I'd go, and it's just like the lift would just open. I'd be like, oh, "What's inside?" It's like a game show, and I'd get like a bag full of corks or like something, just something totally useless. I could, but it was the
Oh.
fun part of the game was trying to work out why I did that to myself.
Yeah,
Like what?
like with these like business ideas you came up late at night
Yeah,
when you'd had a couple of gins,
yeah,
and then like
exactly.
6 months later you get a load of,
So what's?
I
I
don't
don't
know,
even remember what the origin of this business
pe-
idea is.
peanut soup. You figure I'll sell this peanut soup to everyone.
I'm gonna get an import license for peanut soup and start a whole
Jesus.
peanut soup shop. Yeah, so drop shipping was something that I looked into briefly, but to be perfectly honest, the bubble burst. I think now it's more
Yeah.
B to B. These are a couple of side hustles that I've not actually got in my list, but it's something that I've got a little bit of experience with. I'll tell you more about the things that I've done later on, but maybe you'd like to introduce your side hustle and tell the listener, hi Ginger, um, how to become a multimillionaire in 2 weeks.
Day trading. Are we going for that?
Okay, I'll pull it up. I'll pull up the little the 2 pixel image that you've sent me.
Was it
It is.
another bad one? I'm
Nice.
sorry.
No, actually, this one's quite good. That's a good image.
Okay.
It's nice.
So day trading is essentially stock stuff, stocks and
Stocks,
shares.
stocks and shares.
I'm an expert in this.
Yeah,
No,
sounds
but
like.
it's looking for stocks that bounce between high and low prices within a day. Often like within a, oh, that is a cool image.
It's
Often
nice.
within that could be me. Uh,
He's
within
got
a,
hair.
yeah, yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so it's within a day, or even shorter periods. So you'll find a stock that is up and down basically
Mm.
and constantly moving, and it could be that it goes up and down in pennies, um, but you buy low and sell high, and that sounds pretty easy. Apart from, to make any money doing it, you have to be doing this for like 1,000 stocks at the same time, and that's why that man has got so many tellers on the
Mm.
go. There's like various strategies for it, ranging well, loads of different ones really. Range trading, that's
Mm.
a bit like what I was just saying. So something will be going up and down, so uppy downy lines all the time. Spread trading, that's where you sort of look at temporary changes and you almost bet on whether it's going to go up or down from there. I mean, all stocks is basically gambling, isn't it?
Yeah.
Uh,
This sounds a lot like crypto. There's.
Well, crypto is basic. Yeah, crypto is basically the same. Like
Mm.
I actually looked at crypto today. Something popped up on my phone
I
and
did
said,
it. I did a little bit of crypto. I
Well,
I lost everything, But
I'd forgot that I had some Bitcoin,
oh, what did
and
you get? What did you get? Bitcoin. You
well,
had Bitcoin.
yeah, and I've just realised it's gone up, back up to about
How much
40K.
Bitcoin did you have?
Oh,
Zero
like
point zero zero zero.
yeah, I'd like
Yeah.
about 800 quid, but I checked it today because I'd forgotten that I even had the app on my phone, and I've made like 400 quid, so I sold them, so that was nice.
Ah, what did you
Um,
sell them? You hold on to Bitcoin. Is well, at least sell the difference. Don't sell the lot.
it's Christmas. Um,
You could have sold the 400 or put the 400 into. I missed the doggy train. Uh, that's another thing about side hustles is that the markets can be so unpredictable.
yeah.
I mean, crypto is it? You were talking about day trading. Is that forex?
Forex is just a platform you can use to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, you can. There's it's just become really sort of accessible to everyone. Like I do a bit on the stock market, um, and I probably sort of got into that because of my granddad,
Mm.
who was an interesting man. That image, if you imagine all of those as CRT TVs, like massive fat ones,
Yeah.
and just with all different teletext pages. My granddad used to sit in his office because he couldn't stand my grandma. She was a mean woman, and he chain smoke staring at teletext, and he
Wow.
had like an old rotary phone where he'd ring an actual man like a stock dealer and say, "Oh, I want to sell this now," and he'd sell it, and he'd go, "Oh, there you go, Richard. I just made £8." He was from the north. I
Yeah.
don't know what um and yeah, that's basically all this is. But you
Old
can do it
school.
on your phone, you can do it, do it on a laptop. A lot of people sort of give up work to do it,
Well,
and most people fail
yeah,
at
of,
it,
of
to be
course. But
honest.
I would say if anyone, well, Ginger has already seen our episode on AI, but AI is something of a threat to the trading and short selling markets because there's a lot of assistance that you can get nowadays, and certainly moving into the future. I don't know if you've heard of Grok, Elon Musk's new his version of ChatGPT.
Mm,
That's been released. I think they're testing it now with the people that have paid for their little blue ticks. They get to
yeah.
use. They've got the privilege of using Grok, but it's got a real time. It's got the capacity to run in real time, whereas ChatGPT is plugged into. Well, it scanned the internet a year ago. So the implication of that is that you can get real time trading. So
Oh,
you can
that's interesting.
train an AI, or you can create a code for an AI and make your own plugin, and you can train it to follow the markets and give you.
Okay. So one of the strategies day traders use is called trend following,
Hmm,
and that sort of you like ride the wave of a stock that's moving up or down. Um, but those influences are things like reports on quarterly earnings or just like news reports that might vaguely affect that industry. And I suppose if you've got AI scanning for all that stuff, that's a yeah, that would be quite interesting.
yeah,
Let's get that. We need a blue tick.
yeah. I mean,
Follow us on X.
it's all
Is that
made.
how you
It's
do
all
it? I
made
don't
up
know.
anyway, isn't it? The money and the value of it all and everything. But that's another conversation for another day.
Okay.
What would you recommend? Have you got any recommendations for people that would be interested in getting into day trading, or indeed the opposite? Would you say don't do it because you lose all your money?
Listen, if you've got 100 quid that you can afford to lose, I'd have a go.
Send it to
You can do it.
Richard.
Yeah, I use a platform called Trading 212, and that's got like a virtual uh, element. Like you can just switch from real money to monopoly money and just
Mm,
see how you get on. Um, I think the difficulty is doing it with 100 quid. You're never going to make millions. It's going to be really hard work because the little profits that you make will be little profits. If you invest 100 quid in a company and it goes up 7%, like you've made 7 quid minus fees. If you've got 10 grand, then it's worth doing, isn't it?
mm, mm. I'd
Because
say
that's the money.
There's one aspect about crypto that for me that some of the crypto platforms that I was using, a lot of them have in addition to the crypto, it's kind of integrated into a lot of new tech, specifically NFTs. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, NFTs, they're rubbish." By the way, anyone that doesn't know what that is a non-fungible token. So it's essentially a thing that doesn't exist.
You're a
Um,
non-fungible token.
I wish, but a lot of the NFTs were like just uh, images of character. They created like these collectible. The idea is that because it's a unique thing that is protected by blockchain,
Hmm.
it has a value through scarcity. But there are also NFTs which are like skins for games, so you can get like unique battle armor for Call of Duty or whatever, or there's a special gun or whatever. And a lot of the gaming stuff is where you can actually make a lot of money because you can invest your crypto into upcoming projects. And I have a few friends that have made a fair bit of money out of that. But
Yeah.
again, like I say, it's all just taking the risk and having something up front that you can invest. And one bit of advice: never invest anything that you can't afford to lose. There you go. That's our tip of the day.
Do you remember when I was a psychotherapist?
No, when was
Yeah,
that?
you
Last
do.
week. Where
When I
was
was
the?
fixing people's brains,
Yeah.
and yeah, I used to do the addict stuff. But I also had some like more normal people. I actually did some work with a guy who was like a bit of mild depression, and it turns out he was depressed because when Bitcoin came out, he like bought 20 of them
Hmm.
and put it in his what do you call it, a paper wallet or something, and
Yeah.
didn't know his code to get into his paper wallet.
Oh.
So he had like £1 million. Um, and I didn't make him any happier. He was still depressed after 6 weeks. But I saw him a while back, and he designed a computer program to work out what the code was for his paper wallet,
Yeah.
and because he knew like a few of the numbers or something,
Hmm.
and he got it, and now he's like a millionaire.
But was he in recovery or was what?
No, no, he wasn't an addict. He was just a bit depressed because he had
Yeah.
a
Right. Okay.
£1 million somewhere that he couldn't get. Uh, but yeah, he's still quite depressed as it happens.
Oh.
So it
Well,
doesn't solve everything, does it?
that's a depressing story. So
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
doesn't. Okay, you've got to sign off each of the different side hustles with some kind of key advice.
Okay. Someone told me this. Uh, the only way money will make you happy is by giving it away.
Who told you what? That is the most ridiculous thing. I never like that. Must be why. I mean, that's what they do in Tibet, right? The Buddhists.
I think it's talking about sharing the wealth and being generous. There you go. Does make you happy
It does make you happy if I let's
until you give it all
yeah,
away, and
exactly.
then
As
no one gives you anything back.
if I give £5 away, I give a fiver away. I'm happy to do that as long as I've got another million in the bank. Like that's fine. Like who cares? Like yeah,
That's
sure.
not how it
Oh,
works.
okay.
Anyway, go on. What's your first one? This
Well,
is going to be
I'm
horrible.
just gonna talk about my own stuff. I'm gonna talk about firstly a little bit of my own experience because, like I said, during COVID, a lot of people were lured down the side alley of side hustle, and
Mm.
I was one of them. And I got a nasty surprise when I went down there because I bumped into Andrew Tate. There he is. He's on screen. He's one of us. He's a baldy. Um, he's got
He's not one of us.
he is.
He's
He looks.
not one
You
of us.
almost. You look a little bit like him. He's a slightly darker version of you. Um,
Much darker
uh,
with all the rape.
he's got a, yeah. He's got a terrible online or positive online reputation. He's a very diverse, divisive character, I should say. And I know a lot of people dislike him, but I don't really care about any of that stuff. I wasn't really interested. I'm not interested in him as an individual. I wanted to check out what this Hustlers University thing was all about because I kept seeing it advertised and discussed everywhere. And um, like I said, the side hustle universe just exploded during COVID, with everyone at home trying to make their millions. And I I think that part of the side hustle industry is that it is fueled by FOM, the fear of missing. It was no
Mhm.
FOMO, sorry,
FOMO.
yeah,
Yeah.
FOMO, you FOMO, fear of missing out, and that's how a lot of these schemes make their money. You get a lot of influencers on social media platforms like Instagram, for example, that are selling the idea that they have become uh, self-sufficient. But
Yeah.
that is literally part of the process of. So I'll tell you a little bit about Hustlers University because I paid to use it for. I was in there for a month, I think, maybe 2 months.
Wow.
Because I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see what was inside. I wanted to see what everybody was talking about, and it is. I'll be completely honest because there are a lot of people that are what do I say? There's a cultish kind of vibe. Um,
Yes, we're in.
yeah, and
Sounds salty. I'm in.
yeah, you'd love it. Yeah, you'd love it. Please go and check out our episode on cults. It's Richard's favourite, but it's also the one that not enough people have listened to. I think it's
Yeah,
interesting. There's a lot of
it's the best one.
nice stories in there. But yeah, there was a bit of a culty vibe, the way that people communicate with each other. And I do understand that there is an aspect of filling this. And some people see this as controversial. I can see the positive side of it, but filling this gap or this desire for a masculine community where blokes were it's like a brotherhood. They all call each other bro and G. That's they always call each other G. um, which is weird. It was weird. I got that as soon as I got in there. I was like the way that people are talking to each other. It it seems supportive, and it was supportive. I'm not playing it down like that. But it just had the smell of a cult. When a place has its own vocabulary, has its own terminology, its own way of addressing each other. That's for me like the first step towards being a cult. Um,
Yeah,
and
probably a warning sign, I think.
yeah, and I'm not saying that the information inside wasn't useful. It was. Is definitely. I think that you can move forwards in your desires, your dream of becoming self-sufficient, but you have to follow the code to the letter. So for most people, like me, who didn't have a lot to invest at the time, if you had a little bit to invest, there was a good course on crypto, and I do believe that was very very useful because they have these experts in each field that would
Mm.
everything was like video based, so it's a video library and Q&A to kind of get you through the different levels. It was very well put together. I will say that it is. I think if you've got the right frame of mind and you've got something to invest, it's probably quite useful. However, what put me off was I started off in a kind of like social media manager course, which is the basic course for people who are don't have anything to invest. And this is another thing. There's a kind of mockery of people who don't have money. They call them brokies, and
Wow.
the whole thing about it's just very forcefully pushing you towards self-sufficiency and independence. These are not bad things. They're not negative things. It's just the way that it was framed. It was like if you don't achieve that, you're a loser.
Yeah.
And I didn't really and again I can understand that from a certain perspective, but the community could be very supportive. There's also a section in there about getting in shape, so it was all aspects of your life. It was how to clean your life up in terms of finance, how to get in shape, how
Mm.
to be motivated as an individual. There's lots of useful stuff in there, but like I say, for me it didn't ultimately it wasn't as useful. It wasn't useful enough to justify the monthly subscription fee, which was €50 or $50. I can't remember. I guess it's $50. I felt a little bit like that, and again, this doesn't apply to all of it, but there was an aspect of like a pyramid scheme where
Yes. I've
um,
been waiting for you to take a breath
and
just so I can shout that this is a pyramid
yeah,
scheme.
But that's where the cult again, the cult aspect kind of comes into it, because you've got these guys that go out onto social media and they're touting how successful they've become. But really, what they're doing is creating this fuel for the Hustlers University, so more people
Yeah.
sign up, and ultimately
No,
just filling the coffers. Um, and
but
the people at the base get richer. The people at, well, pyramid scheme is the other way around, isn't it? It's inverse.
yeah.
So the people at the bottom don't get a lot. The people at the top get the lion's share.
Well,
Um,
that's it. I think isn't that how Andrew Tate made his money? I mean, by
he
getting
made,
people, well,
yeah.
that and
Well,
prostitution
no, no,
and
he
the
was.
exploitation of women.
It
Um,
was chat. Yeah, the chat rooms before all of this stuff existed, like the kind of early days. So, cam girls basically.
yeah,
Um,
but like yeah, but I'm saying he got rich going, oh yeah, I'm really rich because I've done all this stuff with crypto. I don't think he fucking did. I think he just like got a load of Romanian girls who were like all messed up and traumatized, got them to like play with themselves on camera, and then got a load of no, I won't say mugs, but you know what I mean, to give
no,
him
no, no.
50 quid a
I
month.
do, I do. Yeah, no, you are a mug for that. I think to some extent. I mean, the funny thing is, like, it's all about respecting each other, respecting the brotherhood, building each other up, and all of that. But at the end of the day, everybody is discardable. If you don't follow
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
protocol, if you don't present yourself as a top G, that's the vocabulary that you use.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you're in the words of Andrew Tate, you're a dork and a brokey. And like
Right.
all of the stuff that I'm saying right now is would be justified because I don't have the right mentality. I'm not an alpha male. I'm a brokey. I'm a dork. All of that stuff. And at the end of the day, like I don't give a fuck. Like whatever. There are more than two options in life. I think it's not you're just broke or you're a millionaire.
No.
Like this, I don't. I felt that as useful as it was, the Hustlers University, I think that there is a lot of grey area that people fall into, and I think there's a lot of manipulation of the vulnerability of a lot of people that get involved with it, because
Yeah.
they start to
But
feel inadequate. They start to feel like if they don't have absolute success, if they're not millionaires, and like not everybody's going to be a millionaire. Like, what happens to the people that keep going in there and they fail or whatever? I don't know. Um, I
yeah, listen, it's selling a dream, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
the old what do you call it, motivational speakers of the sort of 80s and 90s. It's the same sort of thing. It's selling a dream. Hey, you can be as cool as me, guys. Hey, you can
mm.
get laid. Look at
it's
my fancy car. You know, it's selling a dream. But I think with social media now, how much of it is real? We know that everyone on Instagram uses a filter and
yeah,
photoshops their
and
pictures. You know,
AI, man. There's most influencers aren't even real. There's a whole area of Instagram and other social media platforms that it's. I don't know what's wrong with these guys that pay for it, that kind of get obsessed with these. Well, I do. It's just the digital world that we live in, I suppose. But
yeah, man.
um, I find that it's sad, and I'm sad for them. These people that throw their money at these women, the women that Tate had in his webcam industry, like those guys that threw their money away, they made him rich, and then he makes his career take off even further by calling them all losers and broke losers and everything, and saying, "Don't be like that guy." He's like, "Don't be like that guy that made me rich." So, well, okay. I
Mm.
mean, that makes sense. It does make sense, but it's also just really sad. I don't think it's fixing any of society's problems. It's just making a very, very small group of people hyper rich, and a whole load of people just chasing after that same dream, and probably not getting there. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, there was one more thing that I wanted to say about that. I can't remember what it was. It slipped my mind. But yeah, the Hustlers University didn't really work for me. I will say that I did get stuff out of it. It wasn't useless.
Mm.
There was a lot of stuff in there that I learned. Um, but I feel that that kind of side hustle um, the world of being successful through hustling online. Um, there are so many people doing it. It's completely saturated, and it seems to me that it's very much like going off grid. You know our episode on off gridders.
Yeah,
The first thing that off gridders do is they write a book about being off grid, and they sell
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
idea of being off grid to other people, and they create a social media account, and they sell and sell and sell that idea. But you get rich off selling the idea. That's the whole thing, and
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah. I
think
mean,
is yeah,
selling training basically, isn't it? I know.
yeah.
I had a boss, a digital marketing company I worked for, uh, and he was very Andrew Tate esque. He was a massive misogynist and a real prick, to be honest. And I left the company to go and do something more honest, and it went bust shortly after.
Oh,
But
because you
but
left.
probably. I fit all the books. I'm a millionaire. um, no, but and now he sells this bullshit training about
Yeah.
marketing stuff, making out that he's the world's most successful marketeer. But it's actually just him in his basement, with
Mm.
a camera that it was probably the only thing he kept from his very corrupt business. I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
like that man. I don't like Andrew Tate either. Can we take his face off? He
Yeah.
annoys me. He
I
looks like a turtle.
it reminds me of the self help industry of like the 90s and the early noughties. You know, it's like the
Yeah.
all and again, um, I feel like the actual product is an idea or a dream or a concept, um, disguised as something that should benefit you. And I don't like that because it always hits or hurts the most vulnerable people in society. Like somebody who's going to buy a self help book is obviously somebody that feels that they need to be fixed. And I'm not saying that there aren't useful things in self-help. I'm not saying that at all. But it is true that the self-help market is completely saturated with all of these solutions to your problems. And I think
Hmm.
a lot of the time, there's just no magic key. There's no fix-all solution. It's the same with self-help as it is with becoming a millionaire. You know, you're
Well,
not
the problem with self-help books.
you got
There's
to do it yourself.
no qualification to write a self-help book. A self-help book. You don't need to be qualified in anything, and you don't even need a fucking publisher anymore.
Self-publishing, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, man, this grinds my gears, man. This really winds me up.
Why?
But there are positives to it. Like I think I know a few sort of mums who have given up their career to have kids, and as the kids have got older, they've like written like children's books and things, and they publish it on Amazon, and it's a real simple way of doing it for them, and they can make a few quid from it, and I think that's great. But when as a published author, Ben,
What?
I'm a published author in
Why
in
would you say what? Because you sent me that birthday card?
no, because I worked in publishing for ages. I was senior editor for Tops Europe, and then senior editor for Pedigree Books. And so, in what year was it? 2007. I wrote the number one selling Christmas non-fiction children's book for Christmas that year. It was the WWE annual for WrestleMania 25. But I wrote that and it got published. All right, I was working for a publishing company, so it was going to get published. They were going to publish it whether I was there or not. Um, but when I come across people and I say, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" They go, "Oh, yeah, I'm a published author." "Oh, what publishing house has published you?" "Oh no, I'm self-published." You're not a published author, then. You're a
This sounds
self
very personal.
publicizing twat. No, I hate it. I really fucking hate it. Can you tell? However, but there are people who will publish good things, and someone might be interested in reading it. and you can get paid for that. So I suppose that's okay.
I was thinking
Sorry,
about I was thinking
oh,
about doing a self-published book
yeah,
about
my
my exploits.
my heart is hurting. I need to do some fitness. I got angry and my blood pressure went
But
up.
this is another thing that people did during the pandemic, though, isn't it? A lot of people put their books out. In fact, I looked into that as well. And again, there's a weird kind of I don't want to say pyramid scheme because it's not. But there's a weird scheme of putting out these PDF books on Amazon, and you give away like the first three. They say that the third book that you write is the one that you sell. You give away the first three, um, and then so it'll be the fourth one, wouldn't it? What are
Yeah,
you doing? Are you
I'm getting comfy. I'm sorry.
okay? Well, stop it. Um, I don't know if you actually know anything about self-publishing, or if you're just for some.
Just
I don't
just
really.
that they're
You're just angry.
wankers. No, I think what gets me is I think there's probably too many books already.
Yeah, maybe we should burn some of them.
No, I just think we've got enough, and books that are like published uh, as by publishing houses have been through some sort of quality control and are probably worthwhile. You know, just like I don't know, Tracy writing a book like really bad novels. They really wind me up. And
J.K.
people
Rowling
publish
was
those.
self-published.
No, I don't like J.K. Rowling.
Why? Is it
Like
because of the turf thing?
no, like London Book Fair. I can't remember what year. Probably that year I wrote the best-selling children's non-fiction book. Um, but she was doing a talk. I just don't buy her. I found her really disingenuous. Anyway, um,
Why have you got all of these personal vendettas against famous people? I mean, what have they done? They
I've got a
haven't done anything to you.
spreadsheet. I've got a spreadsheet of them. Um, no, but do you understand what I'm saying though? To actually get something published and like to be in a bookshop or in a library took like some skill back in the day, didn't it? Like
Wait,
Shakespeare, he was good
yeah.
at it. You know, all the
It's the
poems.
the Pareto distribution. I've probably pronounced that incorrectly, but you know the Pareto distribution.
No,
It's basically well, 99% of people will fail. It's like the best example of it is the publishing industry, because there are like 5 people in the world that take 99% of the annual sales of books. So you get like Stephen King, um, J.K. Rowling, and what's his name? That guy that did the Pillars of the Earth. Oh, I can't remember his name now. He came.
Salman Rushdie.
No,
Uh,
he lived. He lived in my hometown of Stevenage. And I've
Staines.
completely forgotten his name, but he's a very famous author. But anyway, one of the reasons for that is that these books will be in every airport over the world, so everybody that
Hmm.
travels picks up one of these books, and it's a natural law, so it applies to nature in general as well. But that one being that 1% of successful people is it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
Um,
but
that
they've got to be pretty good, or enough people have said they're pretty good. You know what I mean? You know, Dave just writing some erotica in his bedroom of an evening, then putting it out on Amazon. It shouldn't be allowed unless it's good. Like someone should proofread stuff. That's another thing that pisses me off when I see like spelling errors in stuff that has been published. For fuck's sake, if you're gonna write a book, learn how to spell, or at least pay attention to spell checker. You know what I mean?
But I
It's
think that increases the value of the 1%. That increases the value of the things that are actually done properly and done well. I mean, you've got to allow people to enter the market and just do a bloody terrible job of it. It's
mm,
like at sports day at school. You can't say you can't run because you're shit. Everybody gets to run, and the people who are wheezy and fat humiliate themselves in front of all of their friends and family, and then the fastest ones win. And that's life. Get used to it.
yeah. I suppose so. I suppose so. I think, look, no, for me, I suppose it is a good route for uh, new creative people to have an outlet and potentially not starve to death whilst they're trying to do it. But someone just needs to filter out all the shit. There's too many books.
Yeah.
We only need good ones from now on.
But the thing
And
is, anyone can write a book. That doesn't mean that everyone should write a book.
do you know
But
how many biographies Katie Price has got?
she's had,
Seven.
she's lived a lot.
Seven.
Oh my god, she's lived a lot of
I've
lives.
read all of them.
Yeah.
They're good. But uh, yeah, and I just think, yeah, anyone can write a book, but not everyone should, Ben.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
know, we've all got a story to tell, but no one's interested in mine. It's like I'm not going to write a
You're
book.
always trying to tell me your story. Quite frankly, I just switch off every time. It just
Um,
goes on. It's quite depressing.
Also, like there are some issues with self-publishing. People get a tiny fraction of the money, like Amazon and whatever other platforms. They take most of the money. I mean, Lord knows Amazon is skint, not making enough money already.
Yeah, poor old
Um,
Bezos.
I think there's a massive like industry that are taking advantage of people by saying, "Yeah, we'll print you 500 copies of this, and you can say that you're an author, and then sit with 500 copies of them in your garage for the rest of your fucking life
I
because
mean,
no one's
I
interested."
know a couple of people like that. To be honest, I know I've got friends who've got boxes of their own books in it. But I don't know what your problem is, man. Honestly, if you're the guy at Christmas where everyone's like, oh, well, Jimmy recently got a promotion. I hear that your boy's still living at home and he's 45 and he's not married. He doesn't have any children, and you can be that guy. Go Actually, I've written a fucking book. You're in it. And I've not sold any copies, but I am going to announce myself as being an author, and I'm going to put that in every Christmas card I write when I sign my name. Um, Let people have their dreams, even if they're shit.
Well, it's funny you say that because actually, I've just realised one of my problems with self-publishing is a friend of mine, Mr. Ben Griffiths, who is, my friend Gary. It's his son.
Mm.
He self-published some books. I thought they were quite good, but maybe that was partly because I know Ben. But it was his journals basically. He kept a diary for years, and he he got them all like put into a book form, or he put them into a book form. And bless him, he did change the names a little bit. Um, my name in it was changed from Richard Sparks to
Richard
my
Splurts.
no Michael Parks. Of course, my middle name is Michael, and my dad, who is George Sparks, was changed to Gerald Parks.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a bit in one of the books where uh, Ben and his dad had been playing tennis with Michael Parks and Gerald Parks, and then Michael Parks came back, and we were having a beer, and Michael was telling me how he was having an affair with mail order Thai bride
Oh my
in
goodness.
Loughborough, and we talked about sex and oral sex, and I told him he should do it like he was eating a mango, um, which was fine.
Wow.
Had he not given a copy to my mum, who then read it about my sexual exploits with a married Thai lady. Yeah, so that was quite embarrassing. So some things shouldn't be published
What
ever.
is and
Maybe.
you mean just things that have happened to you, basically?
Yeah, yeah, that's why I won't write my own book.
Yeah, don't do
Like,
it.
no
Don't
one
do it.
needs to know.
I'm gonna write one about you, just like the other Ben. That's what.
Yeah, so that was awkward. It was an awkward Christmas, but never mind.
Well, I'm going to tell you now about one of my side hustles because I can, and
Yes.
I thought that maybe it would be vaguely interesting to Ginger and the other viewer, listener.
Mm.
because this was one of the in conjunction with drop shipping. This was the other thing that was quite big during the pandemic. Again, I got on the horse after it had already died, so I was just sat on a dead horse. It is, of course, printing your own shirts. I can't actually remember what it's called now. What is it called? Print on demand. POD. That's it.
Ah,
Um,
okay. I thought you
basic.
couldn't remember what t-shirts were.
No. Right.
Would you?
These are just for if anyone who's not familiar with it, I'll very very briefly just go through what you need to set this up because it's super easy. You use an Etsy shop or an Etsy store which you link to Printify. Printify is the printing company. They usually print out the US. I sell them in the US. You can do shirts. A lot of people that do shirts also do mugs. I do both of those things, and it's super super easy. I make my designs on Midjourney, which is the logo in the bottom right there. I put the designs onto a shirt in Printify. I press publish, and it just goes straight to the store, and you don't really have to do anything else. If you really want your sales to take off, you can pay for some marketing. I can't be bothered, so I probably could be selling a lot more than I do sell or I have sold. But my designs are all based on philosophers because that's what I like, and I just believe that the general public should like the same things as me. I don't think they really do though. That's probably why I haven't sold that many. I've sold. I've made about $400. Um,
There you go.
and I spend $10 a month on the Midjourney subscription, which I have to use for the designs. Printify is free, except the costs come out from each sale,
Mm.
but you don't have to worry about that. Etsy, I have to pay 20 cents for each listing that I put up, so it's really quite cheap. And I
Yeah.
think if you're good at designing, which I'm not, you can get some good results. The name of my shop is Proud Stoics. If anyone wants to check it out, I'm going to show you some of my designs
Yeah,
now.
I really like your shirt stuff, man. I think it's all different and it's all unique and it's an interesting like subject that you've picked. Um,
Philosophy. Um,
yeah.
there's a look at this dweeb. This is. Do you know what? Do you know what's interesting about the? I put the designs onto t-shirts that people are wearing because one of the principal bits of advice that they give is instead of just using a inanimate shirt, which is like the standard thing that you get from Printify, people are more likely to buy if they can see it on a person because they can get an idea of what it would look like when they wear it. But this guy here isn't
Hmm.
real. I made him in Midjourney as well. It's very easy to do. You just put blank and then the color of your t-shirt, blank red t-shirt mock-up. And I said, guy with a mushroom because this is a quote from Terence McKenna, the famous fungal king. The guy that did I say his name right? Terence McKenna. I did say it right. Um, he
You're asking the wrong man, Ben.
he wrote several books on psilocybin and investigated the power of magic mushrooms and how they can open the doors to new universes. Anyway, there's a man with a mushroom wearing a T-shirt with one of his quotes on. Here's one of I can't remember the names of Sophia Loren, and she said these are all quotes that I just get out of people's bios. Everything you see, I owe to spaghetti. You remember Sophia Loren?
Yeah, the actress.
Yeah, beautiful Italian lady.
Yes.
She liked spaghetti. And then finally, this is my top seller. That's a quote from Jack Kerouac about. I can't remember the quote exactly. I don't have it in front of me, but it's more or less nobody's going to remember the time that you spent mowing the lawn or in the office. Go out and climb that damn mountain. And
Mm.
it's motivational, it's philosophical, and people want to wear it because of this AI man in a forest with a very veiny arm. And I think that's very attractive. I take the same designs and I just plonk them on mugs. My mug shop is called Mug in Mouthful.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like that. Um, Listen, I think they're really cool. I think they're creative, they're different. You thought of them yourself. Uh,
Here's
I
one.
think you should. I think you should do some marketing.
Look,
And
there's David Bowie. Without music, life would be a mistake. That's actually a quote from Nietzsche, but on David Bowie's face. I tell you what sells very well: Theo Von mugs. There's one of a man riding a fish, and it says, "Fish are just damn water cattle." It's
I love
a
Theo
Theo
Von.
Von quote. People like that one. And my favourite that nobody likes except for me is this grammar mug that says, "Can I come in? I don't know. Can you?" Grammar saves lives. There's a little vampire on at the window there, which I think is borderline hilarious to the point of profound.
Yeah, you showed me that one ages ago, and I had to get Sharon to explain it to me, and I still don't understand it really. Um, but yeah, good mug.
Great mug. Get yourself one if you're in the US. Christmas sale now on. So that's what you're supposed to do. That's the part of side hustling that I don't do because I can't be bothered. I enjoy.
Is this like what they'd call a passive income, Ben? Like you
It,
you do a bit and you stick it out there, and you don't really keep an eye on it, but every now and again someone will send you some
it
money.
is, but yeah, in order to create a passive income, it doesn't start as a passive income. You've got to put a lot of time and effort and energy into it at the beginning. And I think a lot of people that get involved in side hustles don't realise that it is actually almost a full time job um, at the
Yeah.
beginning. But if you get past that point, then yeah, sure, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months down the line, you might find that you have a form of passive income. Things like this usually involve a lot of marketing, and that's where the time goes. And the
Mhm.
money as well. And I don't have the extra time or money. I enjoy the creative process, but
Yeah.
I can't be. I'll be honest. I can't be asked to sell the stuff. I like making it, and then I just put it out and hope that somebody goes, "Oh, that's nice," but that never happens in reality. So I'm not.
No, but I think, do you think that is part of where, we're saying like the whole side hustle thing is pretty saturated, and there's everyone's doing drop shipping, or everyone's doing t-shirts, or everyone's writing a shitty book without any skill involved, and they should probably be shot. But is it like, because you know 20 years ago, if you were printing t-shirts and you had all these designs, and someone saw them and go, oh, that's cool, uh can I buy one? And before you know it, you've got a shop, then you've got a chain of shops. That's how Superdry
I was.
started,
I was just gonna
you
say
know.
Superdry. Yeah, yeah. Camden
And
Market.
yeah, well, he was selling board shorts out the back of his car,
Mm,
wasn't he? And that grew and grew and grew and grew. um but now, because it's so accessible to everyone,
yeah.
it's just saturated the market. So
Yeah,
I
for
suppose,
sure.
maybe someone will come across your Etsy shop and go, oh bloody hell, these designs are really cool. Um, and I know, like, there's websites where you can just upload artwork, can't you? And people will use it and buy it, and put it on their own stuff or whatever, and you get paid for the design. You get like royalties on the design. I assume you own all of your designs by putting them
Yeah,
on a.
I own them because I generated them with AI through Midjourney, and the images that you generate are belong to the person who created the prompt, which in
Mm,
itself is questionable. You know, I have a bit of guilt around the whole process because it's not necessarily a genuinely creative thing, is it? I mean, I do spend a
well,
lot
it
of
is.
time.
You have to imagine it, don't you? That's
Yeah,
creative.
I run all of these through Photoshop, and I edit a lot of things. I put them together. It's not just an image that I just plonk straight onto. But at the end of the day, there are genuinely talented people who create real art, and they put it onto t-shirts and make their own designs from scratch, and that's really cool. What I would say about the Superdry guy though is it's the same thing. It's the same distribution problem because in Camden Market, there are, for one Superdry guy, there's 1,000 who didn't make it,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's just the way it works. It's the way it works now. It's the way it used to work. It's the way it probably will always work. So I think giving people the impression that they can be the one, um, yeah, that's the business. If
Mm.
there's no, that's the, they say there's no product, then you are the product, and that's, I think, how it works with a lot of these side hustles and the people that sell side hustle ideas. Um, right, what's next?
I'm out.
Oh, are you out of ammo?
Yeah, I only have a two, I'm afraid, this evening.
Uh,
Um,
oh yeah, me too. I did my Tate and I did my print on demand. Um,
yeah.
so I suppose, in conclusion, hey, if you are interested in finding a creative output in your free time, I think absolutely go for it. But just be very careful about what you invest. It's the same in any of these examples that we've given with the trading, with selling products online. Don't spend anything that you can't afford to lose.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I would still encourage people to have a crack at it. Just be realistic with your expectations, and don't do
I think
self-publishing because Rich will find out where you live.
no, I think you're right. Just be realistic in what you can achieve from it. I think if you become reliant on it, then all of a sudden you're completely self-employed, and all of the stresses that go with that, like creating your own business and your own hours and your own income. Um, well, yeah, before you know it, you're self-employed and having to deal with all of that, which I know
Mm,
you do like quite a lot, Ben. I've been self-employed previously, and
of
to be
course you have.
honest, of course I have, but like to be honest, like I quite like the 9 to 5
Mm.
aspect of my life now, and knowing what's coming in, and I can you know throw the odd 100 quid at Bitcoin and see what happens. But yeah, yeah, just I think it's the same as everything, isn't it? You're putting time in. Can you afford that time? And you're putting money in. Can you afford that money, or can it be better spent somewhere else? I don't know.
I think just to wrap up with a prediction, I think that a lot of people are going to be doing side hustles in the future, or not, maybe not call them side hustles, but people are going to be doing several part-time jobs because
Mm,
it seems that the conversation that's being had repeatedly by different people is that we're moving in the direction of a new working week that is a 4 day or a 3 day working week. Bill Gates mentioned recently that he thinks that AI is going to take 80% of jobs, um, and that's going to force us into a 3 day working week. He was smiling when he said it,
mm,
so obviously it's a good thing for him. But yeah, I think that people are going to find themselves looking for multiple sources of income. There's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but you just got to find what works for you as an individual. And don't worry about all of these wankers on social media that are flexing with their cars. They probably don't own that car. They probably rented it for the day to take the photo, and they're trying to sell your dream to you.
mm,
It's the same as buying a lottery ticket. It's tax on people's dreams.
mm. Well, and on a positive.
But yeah, still give it a go if you want.
Yeah, why not? All right, man. Well, have a good, lovely week, bro.
All right, you too. All right, speak to you soon. Yeah, love you.
I love you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.